when I was riding, the pressure would always be on the outsides of my fucking feet. I want a solid strap there, not a buckle connection and a weird, do you know what I mean? Yeah. So I think it was Hurton that first started mounting them that way, and so everybody did it. And I just, all over the years, I've never ridden a board with the buckles on the outside. They're always on the inside. Think about it. Where's the pressure? Is the pressure in or is the pressure out? Where do you know what I'm saying? Yeah. Like, okay, you're riding heavy wet snow right now and the bottom of your board is just dragging. Yeah. What's happening? Your foot is pushing against the forward of the strap, right? Anyway, this to me, sorry, Lucas, but I'm on my own, dude, because nobody else is with me on this one. All right, we're still here at the Pop Culture Museum talking shit about snowboarding. So while on topic, I just wanted to go back a little bit into the history. So there was an interesting phenomenon in the beginning of snowboarding, and that is that we were essentially unwelcome in the Alpine. So what would we used to call dudes? So skiers wanted to fist fight us and shit. We'd go up and hike, because they wouldn't let us on the chair. And what did we call? Oh, we called skiers Fritz Tubolts or Hans Beiplanker. Oh, look, there goes Hans and Fritz. We were fucking with them, and they didn't like it, and we didn't care. So, but there was a bit of tension. This board, if we're being completely honest, if you're going to try and ride this on groomers or ice, it's not going to be pretty, right? And that's some of what was happening in the earlier days. People didn't really know what the fuck they were doing, design-wise and riding the shit either. Look at this, all the dust. Oh, I really look after this shit. Anyway, the story of this is that at a certain point, I started snowboarding in 1979, and when we started, we were like on snurfers and homemade boards and just weird shit. Flight made a board that was sort of like a wide version of a snurfer that I think predated the Hurtons as far as I know. And of course we sold we were the original, I think, shop in Canada selling Hurton boards. At least we were the original Vancouver dealer. Get to the point. At a certain time, I was so sick of being denied access to the hills, I thought, okay, well, fuck it. I'm just going to call around and ask these resorts, what's up? Like, why are you not letting us up? I put on my best, sort of professional demeanor and called them up and said, hey, look, I'm just inquiring. I want to know what's the deal. I would say all the majors just pretty much hung up on me, like Blackcomb, Whistler, king, dial tone. Or they just were sort of pretty rude and curt and just were like, yeah, later. So, you can't put that in. That's not PC anymore. Shit. What up, Lucas? Yep. Come on in, dude. Yeah. Hey, fellas, this is Lucas. This is my homie Lucas. Yeah, he's here to build himself a board. Yeah. Yeah, he's stoked as shit. Cool, man. This is Max and this is Max. Okay. Yeah. That's easy. So, so what it is that I called around and said, what's up? How come you're not letting up snowboards? So eventually I got someone, it was Cypress or somebody who actually took a minute and talked to me, and they said, well, we don't let them up because our insurance only allows us to load and unload people wearing skis. And I went, that's actually a pretty reasonable explanation, right? Yeah. And so I thought, okay, great, thank you. So I'm satisfied for the moment. But then I thought about it for a couple of days and I thought, well, shit. What if you could load and unload wearing skis somehow and have your board with you? Anyway, cut to Super Slider snow skates, one of the most dangerous products ever produced, right? I don't think they were 60s or something. I remember the ads on the TV and shit. It would be like, skate, slide, soar. And they were thinking soar like S-O-A-R, but really it was S-O-R-E because you would just break your tailbone trying to use these. Anyway, I called around a couple of I called Cypress back, I think, and I said, well, hey, listen, I talked to someone, they said if we had skis, you'd let us, and then they're like, nah, no, forget it. And I thought, well, who needs the business, And I don't know if anybody ever heard of Hemlock Valley, but it's a little mountain outside of Vancouver. And I called them up and I said, hey man, I hear you don't or I said, do you let snowboards? No, we don't. I said, well, if we could figure out a way to load and unload wearing skis, holding our board, would you sell us tickets? And they said, sure. The next weekend when we had some snow, boom, we were out there loading, and we're like this. We got these things on our feet, right? And we're like, right, going on and off the chair. And then the cool part though is you get off on the top. These are small and light, right? They weigh nothing. Boom, throw them in a backpack. You're on your board. Dude, it was nuts. We went from hiking. Hiking is gnarly, dude. You know how much hiking you have to do to get a run? Like a lot, you know? And that was the only option to begin with. Anyway, when we all of a sudden were at Hemlock Valley riding chairlifts, it was, I don't even know how to describe it, man. It was like, yeah, I don't know. It was like going from black and white to color or something. It was just a mind blower. So these are significant because these goofy little skis are actually what opened up snowboarding in BC. And in fact, I heard this story from somewhere in Tahoe or California that it was a very similar thing. One of the mountains down there did it too, right around the same time. So that's really early pioneer shit because, you know, obviously if snowboarding never made it onto the chairlifts, it wouldn't have gone very far, you know? Cypress was insane. Like Cypress was, to me, the ultimate snowboard hill, partly because I could be up there like really quick. My store used to open at noon specifically so that I could get my shred on in the morning before 12. And my little deal at Cypress was, I want to be first on the chair, period. I'm not riding anybody else's track. So I'd be sitting there, chair's not even open yet. I'm in the fucking blizzard like this, right? Waiting for the patrol. Patrol would come down, boom. I would just go off. And then at 11, after just fucking shredding my guts out for several hours, I'd go and open my shop up, you know? And on the way down, I'd see my punk ass friends coming up and I just laugh, going, have a good time riding my churn, kooks. The cool thing too was in the early days, Cypress was looser, right? Like everywhere was. And we ducked ropes, but we were respectful and we were responsible. We didn't go and get ourselves caught on the back of the hill, which eventually started happening at Cypress. So in the early days, it was golden because, you know, we'd ski patrol, you'd get, if they knew who you were and they knew that you weren't gonna fuck up basically, you had free reign. I definitely remember ducking ropes and kind of looking over and seeing a ski patrol guy and him just sort of going, yeah, like you're good, like no, you know what I mean? But what happened was, over the years, if anybody's ever ridden Cypress, there's a peculiar thing, whereas if you go, there's some out of bounds stuff that's really fun. But there's a certain point where there's a cutout to get back to the resort, and if you miss that cutout, it's really disorientating. And people think, well, if I keep going, I'll hit a road. You don't. You end up behind the mountain on the backside. But because people are sketched out, they don't want to get out and walk in deep snow. They think I'll just keep going downhill. Anyway, probably most people who grew up in Vancouver have heard the stories of motherfuckers spending a night on the backside of Cypress. 9 times out of 10, it was a snowboarder. Shit started tightening up a little bit after that. Yeah, I think Cypress was 89. I think that it might have been earlier, it could have been 87. But the peculiar thing about the early days was that the boards still were not great, and the people still didn't know how to, we didn't know how to ride them that great. I mean, a few of us did, and then a bunch of us didn't, right? So they weren't confident that we weren't gonna just mow down fucking, you know, ski schools of children and just plow through them or whatever we were expected to be doing up there. So get to the point was they had certification. You had to be, they wouldn't sell you a lift ticket unless you were certified. Which is quite funny because my buddies were just these gnarly dudes, you know. You didn't have to pass certification if homie was there. You just had to give him a joint or something, you know, and you were certified. Anyway, so that was kind of funny. No, you go up, are you a skier or a snowboarder? I'm a snowboarder. Do you have your certification card? What's that? Well, I can't sell you a pass. What the fuck? Anyway, funny shit.